Namaste to all the viewers and welcome to our channel, The Outlier 73. Well, today's video is on the basic details of e-invoicing. As you all are aware that e-invoicing is mandatory for those taxpayers whose annual turnover is more than rupees 20 crores effective from 1st April 2022. So there will be large number of taxpayers who will come within the purview of e-invoicing with effect from 1st April 2022. Well, there is a lot of myth regarding e-invoicing. There is a wrong perception that e-invoicing is generation of invoice in GST portal or the NIC or any of the government portal. Well, that is not true. E-invoicing invoice has to be prepared in a regular manner in a normal standard format with the help of any of the ERP as adopted by the management. It is only that the specific particulars from this regular invoice is fed into NIC, that is a portal, invoice registration portal, and after feeding of these details, IRN is obtained, that is invoice reference number is obtained. In short, it is just the feeding of certain details from the regular invoice to the NIC portal and obtaining of the IRN, that is invoice reference number. This IRN has to be quoted in our regular invoice and issued to the customer or the party. It is very important to note here that e-invoice is a system in which only B2B invoices are fed and are authenticated electronically. Well, now there is as we say that the aggregate annual turnover, if it exceeds 20 crores with effect from 1st April 2022, e-invoicing is mandatory. Now, what is this aggregate annual turnover, or how to calculate this aggregate annual turnover? It is solely primary fact is that it is solely based on PAN. Primarily, we have to add all the turnovers of different GSTNs under same PAN. It is PAN based and not GSTN based. So it includes, this aggregate annual turnover includes exempted supply of goods and services, taxable supply of goods and services, and exports, interstate supplies of goods and services. The four factors or the four supplies which are included are the taxable sales supplies, exempt supplies, interstate supplies, and export. And one very important point here to be noted is non-GST supplies are not included in the calculation of the aggregate annual turnover to check whether it exceeds 20 crores or not. Well, now let us understand as to which are the transactions on which the e-invoice has to be generated. That is B2B, business to business, transaction of business to business, B2B, business to government, that is B2G, and exports are covered, are those transactions for which the e-invoice has to be generated. Important point which is worth mentioning here is B2C and exempt supplies does not come within the purview of e-invoicing. That is, e-invoice is not applicable to B2C or the exempt supplies, and it is not necessary to generate e-invoice on these two, that is B2C and exempt supplies. It is applicable to B2B, B2G, and export. Coming to the document part, which are the documents for which this e-invoicing is applicable? It is applicable on tax invoice, credit note, and debit note. It is not applicable for bills of supply and delivery challan. Let me repeat, it is applicable on tax invoice, debit note, credit note, and it is not applicable for bills of supply and delivery challan. Now, coming to the exception part of it. E-invoicing shall not be applicable to these categories of registered persons, irrespective of their turnover. Even if it crosses 20 crores, these categories of registered persons, for them, e-invoicing is not applicable. Let's glance or walk through these. E-invoicing is not applicable to the insurance, banking, or financial institutions, including NBFC. First one, and then it is not applicable on special economic zone units, that is SEZ unit. It is not applicable on the goods transport agency. A registered person who supplies, who is supplying the passenger transportation services, it is not applicable to passenger transportation service as well. It is not applicable to the government department or the local authorities. Now coming to the last category, registered person. If a registered person is supplying the services of by the way of admission to the exhibition of cinematographic films in the multiplex cinemas, it is not applicable to them as well. These are the exceptions. These categories are not covered under e-invoicing, even in spite of the fact that irrespective of the turnover. Thank you, friends, for watching this video. I kindly request you to subscribe to this channel in order to get the daily updates on GST and income tax. Thank you.